Hey guys, tonight we are pulling back the heavy curtain of a Roman domus to step into the life of a person whose voice is rarely heard in the grand story of the empire. We're not going to be a senator or a legionary. Tonight, you are a Roman woman, navigating the complex and often brutal realities of marriage in a world run entirely by men. You will experience the opulent but confined world of a wealthy household, the weight of family duty, and the quiet, constant struggle for a shred of autonomy. Honestly, with the complete lack of personal freedom, and the fact that your father legally owned you like a piece of furniture, you probably wouldn't survive to see your first anniversary. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. I'd love to see where you're all listening from tonight, so drop your city or country and the local time in the comments below. It's always amazing to see how far these stories travel. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Your existence begins not with a celebration of a new life, but with a judgment. You are born into the opulent, sun-drenched world of a patrician family in the heart of Rome. But the moment you draw your first breath, your fate rests in the hands of one man, your father, the paterfamilias. Under the ancient and absolute law of patria potestas, or paternal power, he holds the right of life and death over his newborn children. He examines you, not for your beauty, but for your health and your potential. A weak or deformed child could be exposed, left outside to die. You, thankfully, are deemed worthy. He lifts you up, a formal gesture of acceptance into the family. Your life has been granted to you, a gift from the man who legally owns you. Your identity is assigned. If you had been a boy, you would have been given a unique personal name, a praenomen like Lucius or Marcus, but you are a girl. So your name is simply the feminine version of your father's clan name. If his name is Cornelius, you are Cornelia. If, a few years later, he has another daughter, she will also be named Cornelia. You will only be distinguished from each other as Cornelia Mayor the elder and Cornelia Minor the younger. It's an efficient naming system, if a little confusing at family gatherings. From your first day, your name declares that you are not an individual, but an extension of your father's lineage. You grow up in a domus, a large, beautiful Roman house. Your world is the central atrium, open to the sky, with its basin for collecting rainwater. It is the peristyle garden in the back, a quiet, colonnaded sanctuary with a fountain and fragrant flowers. The floors are covered in intricate mosaics, the walls adorned with vibrant frescoes of mythological scenes. It is a world of immense wealth and beauty. It is also a gilded cage. Your brothers, as they grow, will spend their days out in the city in the noisy forum, learning rhetoric and law, on the campus Martius, training their bodies for war. But your world is, with few exceptions, confined within the walls of this house. Your education. Your educatio is not designed to expand your mind for its own sake. It is a finely tuned program designed to make you a valuable asset on the marriage market. You are taught by a Greek tutor, a highly educated slave. You learn to read and write Latin with a graceful hand. You study Greek, the language of high culture. You are taught enough arithmetic to manage the accounts of a large and complex household. This is not for your independence. It is so you can effectively oversee the work of the household slaves and ensure your future husband's estate is run efficiently. The most important part of your education is learning the virtues of a proper Roman matrona. You spend endless, tedious hours at the loom, learning to spin wool and weave cloth. Your family is wealthy enough to have dozens of slaves to do this work. But for you, it is not a chore. It is a symbol. Skill at weaving is the ultimate sign of pudicitia modesty, chastity, and domestic virtue. It shows you are industrious and not given to idle, frivolous pursuits. Your mother, a stern and dignified woman who seems to be a stranger to laughter, is your primary instructor in this. She teaches you the art of being a Roman wife. Mostly by example, you are to be pious, dignified, loyal, and nearly invisible. You are taught to speak quietly, and only when spoken to by your male elders. You are taught that your family's honor rests upon your flawless reputation. At the center of your universe, like a distant, powerful planet, is your father. He is the paterfamilias. The power he holds over you is not just theoretical, it is absolute. He is not a warm, doting figure. He is the master of the household, a remote authority whose presence commands silence and immediate obedience. You rarely speak to him directly. Your interactions are mediated by your mother. His moods dictate the atmosphere of the entire home. His approval is a rare and precious commodity. His displeasure is a terrifying force that can be directed at anyone a slave. Your mother, your brothers, or you. You come to understand that under Roman law, you are his property. Everything you own, your clothes, your jewelry, the dolls you play with in the garden, is legally his. He has the right to arrange your marriage to whomever he pleases, for whatever political or financial reason he deems fit. While it was rare in your time, the old laws even gave him the right to sell you into slavery or, in the most extreme cases, to order your death. Historians debate the emotional reality of Roman family life, questioning whether the harshness of the law was softened by genuine parental affection. But as you grow up, you know that the law is always there, the ultimate foundation of your father's power. The question of his love is irrelevant. The fact of his ownership is not. You begin to understand your purpose in this world, your value to your father. You are not a daughter to be cherished for your wit or your dreams. You are a strategic asset. You are a walking, talking alliance. One evening, you are hiding behind a curtain near the study where your father is meeting with another powerful senator. You hear them discussing a political alliance, a business venture involving shipping grain from Egypt, and a proposed marriage. You listen, your blood running cold as you realize they are talking about you. They speak of your dowry, of the connections your marriage would bring. They speak of you as if you are a parcel of land or a shipment of goods to be traded. You are the human glue that will cement a deal between two powerful men. Your childhood is a long, quiet, and carefully managed preparation for this single event. You do not play freely in the streets. You do not have friends of your own choosing. Your life is a cloistered existence, designed to preserve your virtue and groom you for your future role. You watch your brothers learn to fight, to debate, to become citizens of Rome. You learn to weave, to manage slaves, and to be silent. As you approach the age of 12 or 13, you feel a change in the household. Your father begins to receive visitors, powerful men with sons of their own. They look at you with a new, appraising gaze. You are no longer a child. You are a commodity that is ready for market. Your education is nearly complete. Your childhood, such as it was, is over. Soon, your father will make a decision. He will forge an alliance. He will agree to a betrothal. And your fate, which has never been your own, will be sealed. You will be passed from the hand of one master to another. Your entire life a transaction in the endless, ruthless game of Roman power. The quiet, cloistered world of your childhood ends not with a gradual transition, but with a formal, calculated decision made by your father. You have just passed your 14th birthday, an age deemed perfectly suitable for a young woman of your class to be promised. You are, in the eyes of Roman society, a ripened fruit ready to be traded. Your value as a political and social asset is at its peak. You're at an age where a modern girl might be stressing about a school exam. Your primary stress is about being married off to a 30-year-old stranger to facilitate a trade alliance. The pressures are, shall we say, a little different. Your father has been entertaining offers for months. Powerful families have sent representatives, testing the waters, inquiring about the size of your dowry and the political advantages an alliance might bring. The choice is finally made. Your future husband will be a man named Gaius Vettius. You have perhaps seen him once or twice from a distance at a public festival. He is a man in his early 30s, already making a name for himself as a junior magistrate, with a promising military career behind him. He is from a good old patrician family, not as wealthy as your own, but with impeccable political connections. The alliance is a perfect match, your family's wealth for his family's influence. You are not present for the negotiations. Of course, these are matters for men, for the two paterfamiliases. The meetings take place in your father's study, behind closed doors, but you hear the echoes of it. You see the serious faces. You understand from your mother that this is the most important business deal of your father's year. They are not discussing a daughter's happiness. They are hammering out the details of a contract. The main points of negotiation are the political alliance and the dowry. The alliance means your father will support Gaius's political ambitions, and Gaius's father, a powerful senator, will favor your father's shipping ventures. Your marriage is the living, breathing seal upon this agreement. Then there is your dowry, the doze. It is a substantial fortune, meant to represent your contribution to the new household and to support you throughout your marriage. Your father offers a large sum in gold coin, a block of apartments in the Sabura district that generates a steady rental income, and 20 household slaves, including a skilled Greek cook. It's a high-stakes business meeting where you are the primary asset being liquidated. We will offer Cornelia, plus the apartment block and 20 slaves. Do I hear a counteroffer? The two fathers haggle. They argue. They drink wine. And finally, they clasp hands. The deal is done. Your future has been sold. A few days later, your father summons you to his study. This is a rare and intimidating event. He looks at you not with paternal affection, but with the satisfaction of a merchant who has just closed a profitable deal. He informs you in a formal, direct manner that he has arranged your betrothal to Gaius Vedius. He speaks of the honor this brings to your family and the great advantages of the alliance. He does not ask for your opinion. He does not ask for your consent. Your consent is irrelevant. Your duty is to obey. You stand before him, your hands clasped, and you murmur, "Yes, Father." It is the only answer possible. Inside, your heart is a flutter of conflicting emotions, fear of this unknown man, a sense of solemn duty, and a tiny treacherous flicker of excitement at the prospect of leaving your childhood home and becoming the mistress of your own. The official betrothal ceremony, the sponsalia, is held at your home. It is a grand affair. The house is decorated with flowers and ribbons. Both families are present, dressed in their finest togas and stolas. The atmosphere is festive, but it has the underlying tension of a treaty signing. You are dressed in a simple white tunic, your hair carefully braided. You are brought out and presented. Gaius, your fiancé, steps forward. He is tall and imposing, and he seems impossibly old to you. He smiles at you, a formal, distant smile. The two fathers make their public declarations, announcing the agreement between their families. Then, Gaius presents you with the betrothal gifts. Finally, he takes your left hand and slides a ring onto your third finger. It is a simple ring, not of gold, but of plain iron, a symbol of a binding, unbreakable contract. As he does so, your mother whispers to you that this is the finger that contains the vena amoris, a special nerve that, according to tradition, runs directly to the heart. The irony of this vein of love being activated during a cold, calculated business transaction is not lost on you. Your father then asks you the formal question, your one and only line in this entire drama? Spondane. Do you promise yourself all eyes are on you? You look at your future husband, at your father, at the expectant faces of your two families. You take a breath and speak the single word that seals your fate. Spondeo, I so promise. You are now a fiancé. Your life changes, becoming a period of intense preparation. You are no longer just a daughter being educated. You are a future wife being groomed for a specific household. Your interactions with Gaius are few and always heavily chaperoned. He may visit your home and have a formal dinner with your family. You will sit quietly, speaking only when addressed, while he and your father discuss politics. You are a prize he has won, and he is now inspecting his property. Your mother's lessons intensify. She teaches you about the Vatius family, their history, their connections, their particular customs. She instructs you on how you will be expected to manage Gaius's household, a home much larger and more complex than your own. You learn the names of his family's most important slaves. You are given lists of their assets. You are being trained for your new job as Domina, the mistress of the house. You look at the simple iron ring on your finger. It feels heavy, a constant, physical reminder of the promise you made. It is a shackle, binding you to a man you do not know and a future you did not choose. Your childhood is officially over. You are a commodity that has been sold. Soon, the wedding day will arrive. On that day, you will ritually and legally pass from the hand, the manes of your father, into the hand of your new husband. Your entire existence has been a preparation for this transfer of ownership. You can only pray to the gods that your new master will be a kind one. The iron ring on your finger has been a constant, cold reminder of your fate for months. Now, the day it represents has arrived. The date has been carefully chosen by the priests and your father, a lucky day in the second half of June, a month sacred to Juno, the goddess of marriage and protector of women. This is your wedding day. It is the day you will cease to be your father's property and become your husband's. Your day begins in the darkness before dawn. The night before, you performed the first ritual of separation. You took your childhood toys, your dolls, your small loom and your toga praetexta, the purple-bordered toga of a child, and you offered them on the altar of the Lares, the guardian spirits of your father's house. It was a formal, quiet farewell to the girl you once were. Now, you are to become a matrona, a Roman wife. Your mother and the female slaves of your household wake you and lead you to your bath. Your preparations are steeped in ancient tradition, every action symbolic. They dress you in the tunica recta, a special seamless tunic woven in the traditional way on an upright loom. It is simple, white, and pure. Around your waist, they tie a belt of wool in a complex, special knot, the nodus Herculeneus, the knot of Hercules. This knot, a symbol of your virginity and the binding power of marriage, can only be untied by your husband, and only on your wedding night. It's a symbolic tradition that also serves as a rather effective, if awkward, chastity belt for the day. Next comes your hair. This is the most intricate part of the ritual. Your hair is carefully parted into 6 separate locks using the point of a spear, the hasta calibrus. This is a strange and ancient custom, a symbolic echo of a time when women were taken by force, a reminder that marriage, at its root, is an act of capture. The 6 locks are then carefully braided and coiled against your head, a hairstyle reserved only for brides and the sacred Vestal virgins. Finally, over your head, they place the flammeum, a large, flame-colored veil of deep yellow or orange. It covers the top half of your face, obscuring your features, rendering you a mysterious, anonymous bride. You are no longer just Cornelia. You are now the symbolic Roman bride, ready to be transferred. Your groom. Gaius arrives with his family and friends, all dressed in their finest togas. The ceremony itself takes place in the atrium of your father's house. It is not officiated by a priest, but by a pronoba, a respected matron from your family who has been married only once and is in a stable, long-lasting marriage. She is a woman of good omen, a living symbol of what your marriage should be. She takes your hand and your groom's hand and joins them. This is the dextrarum junctio, the joining of right hands, the physical symbol of your contract. You look at Gaius's hand, so much larger and older than your own, as it closes around yours. Then, prompted by the pronuba, you speak the ancient vow, your voice a small, trembling sound in the crowded atrium. Ubi tu Gaius? Ego Gaia. Where you are, Gaius. I am Gaia. It is a phrase whose meaning historians will one day debate. Is it a simple declaration of submission, saying that you will be whatever he is, or is it a statement of partnership, a claim to a new identity as a full member of his family? In this moment, it feels like both. You are giving up your old identity to assume a new one that is entirely defined by him. Now comes the part that has nothing to do with you. The sacrifice. A pig is brought into the atrium, and a soothsayer, a harispex, performs the ritual slaughter. He then inspects the animal's entrails, the liver, the heart, the lungs, searching for any abnormalities, any sign that the gods disapprove of this union. The room is silent as he works. A bad omen could halt the entire wedding. He finally straightens up and declares the omens favorable. A collective sigh of relief ripples through the guests. The gods have given their consent to the transaction. With the formalities complete, the wedding feast begins. Your father, in a great show of wealth and generosity, provides an extravagant meal with multiple courses, fine wine, and music. You sit in a place of honor, but you barely eat. You are a bundle of nerves, a silent, veiled figure at the center of a loud celebration that is about your future, but not for you. As evening falls, the most dramatic part of the wedding begins, the deductio, the procession that will take you from your home to your new life. It begins with another piece of ritual theater. Your husband, Gaius, seizes you, pretending to tear you from your mother's weeping embrace. Again, it is a symbolic act of abduction, a public performance of your transfer from your father's household to his. You are then led out into the street, into the heart of a noisy, joyful, and slightly chaotic parade. Two young boys walk on either side of you while a third goes ahead, carrying a torch of hawthorn wood lit from your father's hearth. Flute players create a merry tune, and the entire wedding party follows, singing the Fescennine verses crude, bawdy, and often insulting songs meant to make you laugh, to ward off evil spirits with their raucous noise, and to encourage fertility. The crowd of guests and even strangers in the street throw nuts at you. Another symbol of fertility. It's a rowdy public spectacle, like being lovingly heckled on your way to a new life sentence. Finally, the procession arrives at your husband's domus. This is your new home. Before you enter, you must perform your first duties as its mistress. You are given a container of oil and a piece of wool, and you anoint the doorpost of the house, a ritual of purification and blessing. Then comes the final, famous ritual. You are not to step over the threshold yourself. To trip at this moment would be a catastrophic omen for the marriage. So, your husband's attendants lift you up and carry you carefully over the threshold. It's a gesture that feels romantic, but its origins are in ancient risk management. Once inside, you are in your new domain. Your husband formally presents you with fire from his hearth and a small container of water. With this gift of fire and water, the essential elements of life, he formally accepts you into his home and his family. He is now the master of your life, the paterfamilias. The guests crowd into the atrium for one last ceremony. Your husband leads you to the lectus genialis, the sacred marriage bed, which has been beautifully decorated and placed in the most public part of the house. He gives you the keys to the household, and then, in front of everyone, he performs his first act as your husband. He reaches for the knot of Hercules at your waist, and with a practiced tug, he unties it. The crowd cheers. The ceremony is complete. The guests begin to depart, leaving you alone with your new husband in this strange, grand house. You look around at the unfamiliar mosaics, the strange household gods looking down at you from their shrine. You are no longer Cornelia, daughter of Lucius Cornelius. That person ceased to exist when you crossed the threshold. You are now Gaia Vedia, wife of Gaius Vedius. The transaction is finalized. The property has been transferred. Your new life, for better or for worse, has begun. The morning after your wedding, you awaken in an unfamiliar room. The light filtering through a window that is not your own. Your husband. Gaius, a man you have spoken with for perhaps a total of 1 hour in your entire life, has already risen and left for his duties in the Forum. You are alone, a stranger in your new home. The initial feelings of fear and uncertainty are quickly pushed aside by the immense weight of your new responsibilities. Your life as a daughter is over. Your life as a Roman Matrona has begun. Congratulations on your promotion from daughter to Chief Operating Officer of the Vettius household. The position comes with a great deal of responsibility, no salary, and a supervisor you are also legally bound to. Your mother-in-law, a stern, dignified woman named Livia, who holds the authority in this house until it is formally passed to you, summons you to the atrium. It is time for the official transfer of power. She leads you to the storerooms, the pantries, and the strongbox where the household money is kept. She presents you with a large, heavy ring of iron keys, the claves. These are the keys to every locked door in the domus. As your fingers close around the cool metal, you understand the symbolism. You are now the domina, the mistress of the house. You have been given the authority to manage this entire complex operation. And it is a massive operation. You quickly learn that being the domina of a wealthy Roman household is like being the CEO of a small, self-contained company. Your primary and most time-consuming duty is the management of the household slaves. There are dozens of them, each with a specific role. There are the kitchen slaves, managed by a skilled Greek cook. There are the cleaning slaves, the serving slaves, the slaves who tend the small garden. There is a staff of female slaves whose entire job is to spin wool and weave cloth under your direct supervision. There are educated slaves, like the Greek tutor for any future children, and the scribe who helps your husband with his correspondence. This entire staff is now your responsibility. You must assign their daily tasks, ensuring the house runs with the smooth, orderly precision that reflects well on your husband's status. You must inspect their work, from the polish on the silver cups to the neatness of the folded linens. You must also act as the judge and jury for their disputes and infractions. It's part human resources, part project management, and part internal affairs investigation to figure out who has been stealing the good Falernian wine from the cellar. If a slave is lazy, you must authorize a reprimand. If a slave is disobedient, you must consult with your husband on a suitable punishment, which could range from a verbal rebuke to a flogging. You hold significant power over the lives of these people, yet you are all in different ways, subject to the absolute will of the same master, your husband. You are the keeper of the household's prosperity. With the keys comes control over all supplies. You learn to measure out the daily rations of grain and oil for the slaves in the family. You plan the menus for the daily meals and for the elaborate dinner parties. The cenas that are so crucial to your husband's political career. You keep meticulous accounts, tracking every sestertius spent at the market, ensuring the household runs efficiently and without waste. Your girlhood lessons in arithmetic, which once seemed so abstract, now have a very real and practical application. Your most public duty, and the one most directly tied to your virtue as a matron, is your work at the loom. In the corner of the atrium, in the most visible part of the house, you spend a portion of every day spinning wool or working on a piece of weaving. You do not do this because your family needs the cloth. You have a team of slaves for that. You do it as a performance of the virtue of pudicitia. It shows any visitor that you are an industrious, modest, and dutiful wife, not given to idleness or gossip. Your quiet, steady work at the loom is a constant, visible symbol of the honor and stability of your household. You wield a great deal of authority within the walls of your new home. The slaves obey you. The household runs on the schedule you set. You are the mistress of this domestic domain, but you are never allowed to forget the limits of your power. Your authority is entirely delegated, granted to you by your husband, He can overrule you on any matter, at any time, for any reason. You may decide that a slave who broke a vase deserves leniency, but if Gaius returns home in a foul mood, he can order the slave to be whipped, and you are powerless to stop him. Your power is confined to the domus. Outside these walls, you have almost no public life. Your husband lives his life in the city in the Senate House, the law courts, the bustling forum. Your life is here. You may leave to visit the women's section at the public baths, to attend a religious festival, or to shop at the market. But you are always escorted. A respectable Matrona does not wander the city alone. Your influence must be wielded from within your home, through your husband, and you do learn to wield it. As the months pass, your husband, Gaius, a man who at first seemed like an intimidating stranger, begins to rely on your competence. He sees that the household runs more smoothly than ever before, that his dinner parties are flawlessly executed, that his accounts are in perfect order. Throwing a successful Roman dinner party is an incredibly stressful undertaking. You must impress powerful men who could make or break your husband's career, and they will judge him based on the quality of his food, his wine, and his wife's dignified management of the event. When you succeed, you reflect well on him, and he begins to value you not just as a wife, but as a capable partner. He starts to consult you, at first, on small matters. "Livia," he might say, using the formal address for a matron, "I am considering buying a new slave to act as my scribe. What do you think of the one we saw at the market?" Later, the questions become more significant. "What is your opinion of Senator Marcellus? You spoke with his wife at the baths. Is he a man to be trusted?" You learn to give your opinions carefully, to offer your insights into the characters and motivations of the people in your limited social sphere. You become his quiet advisor, his secret weapon in the complex social and political games of Rome. Historians debate the true power of a Roman matron, questioning whether she was a real authority or a glorified housekeeper. You discover the truth is somewhere in between. Your power is not legal or public, but it is real. It is the soft, subtle power of influence, wielded in the quiet conversations at the end of a long day. You have found a new kind of life. You have responsibility. You have a degree of authority. You have a nascent partnership with your husband. You are the respected domina of a powerful household. But at the end of the day, as you lie in your marriage bed, you know the truth of your position. This is his house. These are his slaves. The money in the strongbox is his money. And you, his respected, capable, and powerful wife, are still in the eyes of the law and the gods. His property. You have successfully transitioned from a daughter in your father's house to the respected domina of your husband's. You manage the slaves with a firm hand. Your household accounts are immaculate. And the dinner parties you host for your husband's political allies are the talk of your social circle. You have proven your worth as a household manager. But, you know, with a deep and abiding certainty that you have not yet fulfilled your primary, unspoken, and most important duty. Your entire value as a wife, your security in this house, and the future of your husband's lineage all rest on one thing: your ability to produce a son. The pressure is immense, though it is rarely spoken aloud. It is in the hopeful glances from your husband. Gaius, after you have been married for a year with no news. It is in the pointed questions from his mother. Livia, about your health. It is in the very air of a society obsessed with ancestry, legacy, and the continuation of the family name. Your job performance review as a Roman wife has only one key metric, and it is entirely biological. When you finally realize you are pregnant, a wave of profound relief washes over you, quickly followed by 9 months of low-grade anxiety. Pregnancy is a delicate and mysterious condition. You follow the advice of your mother and the older women of the household. You avoid certain foods. You make regular offerings of honey cakes and flowers at the temple of Juno Lucina, the goddess who brings babies into the light. Your status in the household subtly shifts. You are treated with a new level of care and concern. You are no longer just the wife. You are the vessel carrying the future of the Vedius family. Then comes the day of the birth itself. This is a purely female world. Your husband is barred from the room. You are attended by your mother, your most trusted female slaves, and the obstetrix, the midwife, an experienced older woman whose calm demeanor is a small island in your sea of pain. Childbirth in your world is not the sanitized, medicalized event it will one day become. It is a dangerous, bloody, and life-threatening ordeal. The Roman birthing plan consists of a midwife, a few prayers, and a desperate hope that you don't die from hemorrhage or a subsequent infection. The labor is long and agonizing. You lie on the bed, your body slick with sweat, every muscle screaming in protest. The midwife encourages you, her hands firm and sure, but there is little she can do to ease the pain. For hours, you are locked in a primal struggle, a battle between life and death. You know that this is the most dangerous moment of your life. A significant number of women in your world do not survive it. As you push exhausted and terrified, you're not just fighting to bring a child into the world. You're fighting for your own life. Finally, after an eternity of pain, it is over, the midwife announces, with a tired smile, that you have a son, a healthy son. The relief is so total, so absolute, that you feel faint. You have done it, you have fulfilled your duty. But your ordeal is not yet finished. There is one final judgment to be faced. The midwife cleans the baby, swaddles him in clean linen, and carries him from the birthing room. She does not bring him to you, his mother. She carries him to the atrium, where your husband, Gaius, waits. She places your newborn son on the floor at his feet. This is the moment that mirrors your own birth, the ultimate expression of patria potestas. You lie in your bed, weak and bleeding, while in the next room, your husband holds the power of life and death over the child you have just risked your life to bear. He inspects the baby carefully, checking his limbs, his back, his cry. Is he strong? Is he perfect? Or does he have some flaw, some deformity that would make him unworthy of carrying the family name? If he deems the child unfit, he has the legal right to refuse him, to order him exposed. The silence from the atrium stretches for an agonizing minute. Historians will one day debate how often this cruel power was actually used. But for you, in this moment, the law is terrifyingly real. Then, you hear Gaius's voice, clear and strong. He gives the order for the baby to be lifted from the floor. He has accepted him. Your son will live. He is now, officially, a member of the Vetius clan. Only now is the baby brought back to you, and you can finally hold your son, your heir, in your arms. Your life is now utterly transformed. You are no longer just a wife. You are the mother of the heir. This new status solidifies your position in the household in a way nothing else could. You are revered. Your opinions on all domestic matters, especially those concerning the child, are now sought and respected. This is the true path to power for a Roman woman. You pour all of your love and energy into raising your children. Your son, whom you name Lucius after your own father, is the center of your universe. You know his path is one of privilege and power. You will oversee his early years, but soon he will be handed over to male tutors who will teach him rhetoric, law, and military strategy. He will enter the public world of men, the world you are forever barred from. A few years later, you give birth to a daughter. You love her just as fiercely, but you look at her with a sense of melancholy recognition. You name her Vedia, after your husband's clan. Her destiny is to be a reflection of your own. You will be the one to teach her to be modest and obedient. You will teach her to weave. You will oversee her education, ensuring she is a desirable asset for another powerful family. And one day, you will watch as her father negotiates her marriage, and you will stand by as she is handed over to a new master. You are now a willing and active participant in the very system that has defined and constrained your own life. You are raising your son to be a master and your daughter to be a prize. It's a very specific and deeply gendered form of succession planning. Your children become your world. Through them, you exert your influence. You guide your son's early moral education, instilling in him the Roman virtues of duty and honor. You manage your daughter's upbringing, ensuring she has the skills to secure a good match, which will in turn benefit your son's future political career. Your husband, seeing the fine children you are raising, comes to respect and admire you even more. Your partnership deepens, built upon the shared project of your family's future. One afternoon, you stand in the peristyle garden, watching your children play. Lucius, a sturdy boy of 5, is pretending to be a general, commanding an imaginary legion. Vedia, at 3, is carefully arranging flowers she has picked. Your husband, Gaius, comes and stands beside you, placing a hand on your shoulder. He looks at his son, and a rare, unguarded smile of pure pride lights up his face. You have given me a fine heir. Gaia, he says, his voice filled with genuine gratitude. In this moment, you feel a sense of profound contentment. You look at your beautiful home, your healthy children, your powerful husband who has come to rely on and respect you. You have navigated the treacherous waters of Roman marriage and have succeeded by its standards. You have fulfilled your duty. You have produced the heir. You have secured your place. But as you watch your son marching back and forth, a wooden sword in his hand, you are reminded that your security, your power, and your very identity are all reflections of the men in your life, first your father, and now your husband and your son. You have spun another strong thread in the great, enduring tapestry of Roman patriarchy, a system that you can master from within, but never, ever hope to escape. As the mother of a healthy son and the respected domina of a powerful household, you have achieved the pinnacle of success for a Roman woman. Within the walls of your domus, your authority is significant. You manage a large staff of slaves, you control the household budget, and you are the undisputed mistress of the domestic sphere. Your husband, Gaius, has come to rely on your intelligence and counsel, but the moment you step outside your door, the nature of your reality shifts dramatically. You enter a world that is not yours, a world where you have no public voice, no legal standing, and no real autonomy. You are a queen in a very small kingdom, and beyond its borders, you are a nobody. One morning, you decide to visit the Temple of Vesta in the heart of the Roman Forum. It is a pious act, but also a rare excuse to leave the confines of your home. You do not go alone, of course. A respectable Matrona never does. You are accompanied by a small retinue of slaves, a human shield that announces your status and protects you from the grime and jostle of the city streets. As your litter is carried through the crowded lanes, you emerge into the vast, noisy, and breathtaking space of the Forum. This is the heart of the Roman universe, and it is entirely a man's world. You see senators in their white togas with broad purple stripes, standing on the steps of the Curia, engaged in loud, passionate debate. You see lawyers arguing cases before a crowd at the Basilica Julia, their voices rising and falling as they fight for their clients' fortunes and lives. You see merchants making deals, soldiers marching through, and politicians shaking hands. And you see your husband, Gaius, standing with a group of other powerful men. His expression serious, his gestures animated. He is a part of this world. He is debating. He is deciding. He is shaping the fate of the Republic. He is a citizen. You watch him from a distance, and a profound sense of detachment washes over you. You are here in the same space, breathing the same air, but you are not a participant. You are a spectator. The great political and legal dramas of Rome unfold around you, but you have no role to play, no lines to speak. Men walk past your litter, their eyes looking through you as if you are a piece of scenery. In your home, your word is law. Here, you have no voice at all. This public powerlessness is enshrined in Roman law. You cannot vote for the magistrates who run your city. You cannot stand for public office. You cannot plead a case in a law court or even serve as a witness in most instances. The pillars of Roman citizenship, the right to participate in governance and law, are built on a foundation that explicitly excludes you. Legally, you have about the same rights as a child. You are under the permanent legal guardianship of a man. Before your marriage, it was your father. Now it is your husband. This reality manifests in countless practical ways. Your substantial dowry, the fortune your father gave to your new family, is not legally yours. It is administered by Gaius. You cannot sell the apartment block your father gave you, or use the income it generates for a project of your own without his express permission. You cannot even free one of your own personal slaves, a woman who has served you faithfully for years, without his formal legal approval. Your economic life is entirely dependent on his goodwill. So how do you exercise the influence you so clearly have? You learn to operate in the shadows, to use the soft, indirect power that is the only kind available to you. Your political arena is not the Senate, but the bedroom. Your tool is not the orator's voice, but the trusted whisper. In the evenings, when Gaius returns from the chaos of the forum, exhausted and agitated, you are his confidant. He will tell you of the day's debates, of the shifting alliances, of the men who oppose him, and you, with your sharp mind, will listen and offer your counsel. Senator Marcellus spoke against your proposal today, he might say, and you will reply. I am not surprised. I spoke with his wife at the baths last week. She let slip that Marcellus is deeply in debt to a man whose interests are opposed to yours. Your husband cannot go to the women's baths to gather this kind of intelligence. You become his secret agent, his domestic spy. Your political power is essentially pillow talk, and it proves to be surprisingly effective. Your social network of other matrons becomes a vital source of information. At religious festivals, at dinner parties, at the loom, you and the other wives of powerful men build a quiet, parallel world of influence. You trade information about which families are rising and which are falling, who is in the emperor's favor, whose son is making a good match. This web of domestic and social intelligence is invaluable, and it flows from the wives to their husbands, shaping decisions made in the Senate and the courts. You are not powerless, but your power must always be filtered through a man. This truth is never clearer than when you watch your children grow. You oversee your son Lucius's early education with his Greek tutor. But as he gets older, his curriculum diverges sharply from the one you had. He studies history, not as a collection of stories, but as a series of military campaigns to be analyzed. He studies rhetoric, not just to speak elegantly, but to command a courtroom or sway a mob. He is being prepared for the world. At the same time, you are teaching your daughter, Vettia, to weave, to manage a household, and to be modest. You are preparing her for the house. It is a very direct and gendered form of succession planning. The day your son turns 16 is a day of great pride and quiet sorrow. It is the day of his liberalia, his coming-of-age ceremony. He wakes, and in a solemn ritual, he removes the toga praetexta with its childish purple border. He puts on the pure white toga virilis, the toga of a man, the toga of a Roman citizen. Your husband then leads him from your home, followed by a procession of family and clients, and takes him to the forum. There, his name is formally added to the citizen rolls. He is now a man, with all the rights and duties that entails. He can vote. He can serve the state. He can own property in his own right. You watch the procession leave from an upper window of your domus. You are not permitted to join. It is a public, male affair. You see your son, now taller than you, walking beside his father. A young man entering a world of power you can never touch. At 16, he has already surpassed you in legal status and public standing. The glass ceiling in Rome, you reflect, is made of very thick, very solid marble. You do not resent your son. You are immensely proud. You do not hate your husband. You have built a strong partnership based on mutual respect and a deep, quiet affection. But you are constantly, quietly aware of the boundaries of your world. You have a keen mind, a talent for organization, and a deep understanding of human nature. But your stage is forever the household. You are the brilliant, respected, and utterly indispensable manager of a private estate, while the men in your life get to run the world. And that, you understand, is the fundamental, unchangeable bargain of your life as a Roman Matrona. You have built a life within the walls of your husband's domus. You are a respected Matrona, a capable manager, a trusted advisor to your husband, and, most importantly, the mother of his heir. A sense of security, fragile but real, has begun to take root in your heart. You have proven your worth. You have fulfilled your duties. You feel, for the first time, that your position is stable. And then, you learn that the entire foundation of your world is built on sand. It begins, as most things do in Rome, with a whisper. You are at the women's baths, the air thick with steam and gossip. A friend, the wife of another senator, speaks in a low, sympathetic voice of a mutual acquaintance. Did you hear about Livia Drusilla, she asks. Her husband has sent her away. After 20 years and 4 children, he is to marry the young daughter of that new general from Gaul. The words send a chill through the warm, steamy air. Send her away. Just like that, you start to pay more attention. You realize that divorce is a common, almost casual feature of the Roman upper class. The sacred bond you entered into, the one blessed by the gods and sealed with a feast, is, in the eyes of the law, terrifyingly easy to break. Roman divorce is shockingly simple, especially for a man. There are no courts to appeal to, no judges to weigh the case. All your husband, Gaius Dion, would have to do is declare his intention to end the marriage. He could simply say the words, Tuas res tibi habeto. Take your things for yourself, and it would be over. You would be expected to pack your personal belongings and return to your father's house in disgrace. He could do this for almost any reason. If you failed to produce a son, that would be reason enough. If you were accused, rightly or wrongly, of adultery, that would be a reason. If you challenged his authority or brought public shame upon him, that would be a reason. Or, most terrifyingly, he could do it for no personal reason at all. He could divorce you simply because a better political opportunity presented itself, a new alliance that required a new wife. Your years of loyal service, your efficient management of his home, your shared history, all of it could be erased for the sake of political expediency. You have been an excellent COO of the household for 15 years. But if your husband decides on a merger with another powerful family, your position can be made redundant overnight. The only real protection you have is your dowry. By law and custom, if your husband divorces you without proving you were at fault, he must return the entire dowry your father paid. This is a significant financial deterrent. It ensures that a man does not cast off his wife lightly. But you know that for a man as wealthy and ambitious as Gaius, even a large dowry might be a small price to pay for a sufficiently powerful new alliance. And you also know that a determined husband can always find fault. Manufacturing an accusation to keep a portion of the dowry, your only severance package is not guaranteed. This abstract fear becomes a concrete reality when the political winds in Rome begin to shift. A new faction is rising in the Senate, led by a ruthless and incredibly wealthy man named Crassus. Your family and the Vedi family have been on the opposite side of several key votes. Your husband's political career, which had seemed so promising, begins to stall. He is being shut out of important committees, his proposals ignored. At the same time, you start to hear rumors. Gaius is seen speaking more and more with Crassus. At first, you assume it is political maneuvering, but then you hear the other part of the rumor. Crassus has a daughter, a girl of 15, who is unmarried. You see the way things are going. A marriage between your husband and Crassus's daughter would not just be an alliance, it would be a merger of two powerful forces, securing Gaius's path to the consulship, the highest office in Rome. For this to happen, you would have to be discarded. Your husband becomes distant. The easy partnership you had built, the quiet conversations in the evening, they all stop. He is preoccupied, his brow constantly furrowed with calculations you are not privy to. He looks at you differently, not with anger, but with a kind of detached appraisal. As if you are a line item in a ledger he is trying to balance. The fear is a constant, cold presence in your gut. You cannot eat, you cannot sleep. Finally, you cannot bear the uncertainty any longer. You confront him one night in his study. You ask him if the rumors are true. He does not deny it. He doesn't even have the grace to look ashamed. He speaks to you with a cold, Roman pragmatism that chills you to the bone. The path to the consulship is blocked to me? Gaia, he says, not looking at you, but at a map on his wall. My current alliances are not strong enough. An alliance with Crassus would change everything. His faction, combined with my reputation, we would be unstoppable. And what of me, you ask? Your voice a whisper. What of our family, our son? Lucius would remain here. Of course, he says, as if it is the most obvious thing in the world. He is a Vedius. He is my heir. He finally looks at you, and you would be well cared for. Your dowry would be returned in full. Your father would take you back. The casual cruelty of it shatters you. He speaks of dissolving your life together as if he were discussing a change in crop rotation on one of his farms. He speaks of taking your son from you as if it were a foregone conclusion. And he is right. The law is on his side. Your children belong to his lineage, his genes. In a divorce, you would have no claim to them. You would lose not only your husband and your home, but your children as well. This is the ultimate horror, the deepest failure of your life as a Roman woman. You are powerless. You have no legal recourse. You cannot appeal to a court to save your marriage. You have only one weapon: persuasion. You must plead for your home, for your life, for your children. You do not argue politics or strategy with him. You appeal to the man, the partner you have shared a life with for over a decade. You speak of your shared history, of the early awkward days of your marriage, and the comfortable partnership it became. You speak of the nights you sat by his side when he was sick with a fever. You speak of your pride in his achievements. And you speak of Lucius and Vedia. You speak of the look on his face when he held his son for the first time. You appeal to the father, the husband, the friend. You are fighting for your life with the only weapons you have: memory and emotion. He listens in silence, his face unreadable. You do not know if you have reached him. You leave him in his study and spend the night in a state of pure terror, imagining your future returning to your father's house, a divorced woman, a failure. You would live there as a dependent, a permanent guest in your own childhood home, without your children, without a purpose. The next day, Gaius comes to you. He looks tired, older. He tells you that he has sent a message to Crassus, informing him that an alliance will not be possible. He has chosen you. He has chosen his family. The immediate threat is over, but the knowledge of what almost happened, of how easily your entire world could have been dismantled, never leaves you. Your sense of security is permanently shattered. You know now that your marriage is not a fortress. It is a temporary arrangement, its stability dependent entirely on your husband's political needs and his personal affection. You have won this battle, but you know that the war for your position is never truly over. You live with the constant, quiet specter of divorce. The knowledge that your life can be unmade with a single sentence from the man who holds your fate in his hands. The crisis of the potential divorce has passed like a summer storm, leaving a strange, clear light in its wake. Your husband, Gaius, chose you. He chose your family. This act has not made you equals, but it has deepened your bond. You feel more secure in his affection, but you are also more aware than ever that your security is a gift he has granted. not a right you possess. You are reminded daily that you live in a world governed by the immense and absolute power of the paterfamilias, the male head of the family. He is a king in his own home, and you are all his subjects. This power, the patria potestas, is the bedrock of Roman society. It is a legal and social reality that defines everyone under your roof. Your husband holds this power not just over you and your young children, but over his adult children for their entire lives. As long as he is alive, he is the sole legal owner of all family property. He is the sole arbiter of all major life decisions. His word is not just influential, it is law. You see this principle in action when your son, Lucius, is a young man of 20. His wealthy, childless uncle dies, leaving Lucius a vast inheritance in his will, a farm in Tuscany, a block of rental properties, and a significant sum of gold. Lucius is ecstatic. He sees a future of financial independence, but he is mistaken. Because he is still under the paternal power of his father, he cannot legally own property. The entire inheritance, every coin and every acre, legally belongs to your husband. Gaius. It's like winning the lottery, but the check is automatically deposited in your father's account, and he gives you an allowance if you're good. Gaius, as a responsible paterfamilias, does not squander the money. He uses it for the good of the family, investing it wisely and using the profits to advance Lucius's own budding political career. But the decision is his alone. Lucius, a grown man who may one day command a legion, cannot sell a single acre of his land without his father's consent. You watch your son's youthful excitement turn into a quiet, dutiful acceptance. He is learning the same lesson you did in the Roman family. There's only one true adult, the paterfamilias. This absolute authority extends to the most personal aspects of your children's lives. As your daughter, Vetia, blossoms into a young woman of 15, you begin to think of her future. You hope for a kind, respectable young man from a good family, but the choice is not yours or hers to make. It is your husband's, and his criteria are purely strategic. He arranges a match for Vetia with the son of a senator whose political support he desperately needs. The man is known to be twice her age, with a reputation for a foul temper and a fondness for gambling. Your heart breaks for your daughter. You approach Gaius in the privacy of your chambers, pleading with him. You speak of the man's reputation, of your daughter's gentle nature, of her happiness. She is a good girl, you say, your voice thick with emotion. She deserves a kind husband. Gaius listens, but his face is set like stone. The man's uncle controls the grain import commission. He replies, his voice flat and final. This alliance will secure our family's fortunes for a generation. Vetia is a Roman. She knows her duty. You are trying to talk about your daughter's happiness, and he is talking about supply chain logistics. His duty, as he sees it, is to the strength and advancement of his lineage, not to the emotional well-being of one of its members. You have to stand by, helpless, as your daughter is betrothed, her future sacrificed for a political advantage. You are now perpetuating the very system that controlled you, forcing your own child into a loveless, strategic match. The most terrifying and absolute expression of your husband's power comes years later. You are grandparents now. Your son Lucius's wife gives birth to her first child, a boy. The household is filled with joy and anticipation. But when the midwife brings the baby out, a hush falls over the room. The child is born with a clubfoot, a noticeable and permanent deformity. According to ancient tradition, the baby is swaddled and placed at the feet of the paterfamilias. Not its own father, Lucius, but its grandfather, your husband, Gaius. Lucius, a grown man and a father himself, stands by, pale and powerless, as his own father prepares to pass judgment on his son. You watch, your hands clenched, your breath caught in your throat. This is the ultimate test of patria potestas. the theoretical right of life and death, the vitae necisque potestas. While rarely invoked for adults by this point in Roman history, the right to expose a newborn infant was still a grim and legal reality. Gaius, now an old man himself, looks down at his grandson. The entire family waits in terrified silence. He could, with a single gesture, reject the child. He could refuse to lift him. A silent command that the baby be taken away and left to die. To accept a flawed child could be seen as inviting a weakness, a bad omen, into the family line. It is a moment of absolute terrifying power. He looks at the tiny, imperfect baby. He looks at his son, Lucius, whose face is a mask of anguish. He looks at you. You have shared a lifetime together, built a family, weathered political storms. Perhaps he sees the reflection of your own fear in your eyes. After a long, agonizing moment, he stoops down, his old joints protesting, and gently lifts his grandson into his arms. He has accepted him. The child will live. A collective sigh of relief, so profound it is almost a sob, fills the room. Gaius's decision is seen as an act of immense clemency, a testament to his wisdom and mercy. But you see it for what it is, a demonstration of his absolute power. He did not spare the child because he had to. He spared him because he chose to. His authority remains unquestioned. That evening, you sit in the peristyle garden with Gaius. The day's tension has passed. You watch your son Lucius gently rocking his own child, your new grandson. You look at your husband, this man who has been the center of your world for your entire adult life. He has been, for the most part, a good husband and a fair master. But you have never been his equal. You, your children, and now your grandchildren, have all lived your lives as his subjects. His power has been total. The Roman family is not a democracy. It is a kingdom, and the paterfamilias wears the crown, holds the scepter, and acts as the supreme court, all in one. And this, you reflect, is the deepest and most fundamental reason why your life as a Roman matron, for all its comfort and respectability, has been a life of gilded servitude. Decades pass. The fiery, ambitious politician you married has become a venerable, white-haired senator. His name's synonymous with the old guard of the Republic. Your children are grown, with families of their own. You have watched your son, Lucius, rise in the political world, and you have overseen the successful marriage of your daughter, Vedia, into another powerful family. You are the respected matriarch of the Vedius clan, a figure of quiet dignity and immense domestic authority. And then, the one constant in your adult life. Your husband Gaius falls ill. There is no miracle cure, no elixir of life to be had. The illness is one of old age, a slow, inevitable fading of the fire. You nurse him in his final days, just as you nursed him after his youthful injuries. But this time, the roles are different. He is not a sullen, a frustrated patient. He is a tired old man, his power and ambition melting away, leaving only a quiet dependence on you. You manage his household, his visitors, and his comfort. In his final days, the absolute power of the paterfamilias dissolves, and you are simply two old people who have shared a long and complicated life, facing the end together. When he dies, it is peacefully, in his own bed, with you holding his hand. His death plunges you into a new and very public role. As his widow, you are the chief mourner, the central figure in the grand, theatrical spectacle of a Roman patrician funeral. You unbraid your hair, letting it hang loose in a sign of grief. You dress in dark, unadorned wool. You lead the procession of female relatives, wailing and beating your chests in a ritualized performance of sorrow. The funeral itself is a magnificent affair, a final testament to the power of the man and the family you both built. A procession winds its way from your home through the forum. At the head of the procession are actors wearing the wax death masks, the imagines, of your husband's illustrious ancestors, consuls, generals, priests a parade of ghosts escorting him to the afterlife. Your son, Lucius, now the new paterfamilias, delivers the funeral oration from the rostra, his voice ringing out across the forum as he recounts his father's achievements, his military victories, his service to the state. You stand at the base of the platform, a figure of perfect, dignified grief, your face veiled. After the cremation on a grand pyre, you enter the final stage of your life, widowhood, and with it comes a strange and unexpected taste of freedom. If you choose not to remarry and at your age, there is no pressure to do so. You attain the most respected social status available to a Roman woman. You become a univira, a one-man woman. You are seen as the ultimate embodiment of loyalty, chastity, and wifely devotion. Your moral authority is now immense. After a lifetime of being owned by your husband, his death has, ironically, made you a pillar of social virtue. It's a bittersweet promotion. Your daily life changes. While your son Lucius is now the legal head of the family, he is also a busy senator. He defers to you in all domestic matters. You continue to run the great household, but now your authority is not delegated. It is your own, earned through decades of experience and your new, revered status. Your son would not dream of countermanding your decisions about the household slaves or the family finances. You have a degree of financial independence for the first time in your life. Your dowry, which was legally your husband's to control, now reverts to you. You can use it as you see fit to support a widowed niece, to make a donation to your favorite temple, to invest in a small business venture. You are, for the first time, in control of your own fortune. But Roman society never lets a woman be truly free. Your newfound autonomy has a firm legal ceiling. According to the law, a woman can never be fully legally independent. You must always have a tutor, a male guardian, to oversee your major affairs. Now that your husband is gone, this role falls to your nearest male relative, your son, Lucius. The frustrating irony of this law becomes clear when you decide to sell one of the old apartment blocks that was part of your original dowry. The building is falling into disrepair, and you wish to use the money to buy a small, quiet villa in the countryside. You find a buyer, you agree on a price, you draw up the contract, but you cannot sign it. The transaction is too large, and as a woman, you lack the legal standing to complete it on your own. You must go to your son, Lucius, and request that he, as your tutor, give his formal approval, his auctoritas tutoris. The scene is absurd. You, a woman in your 60s who has managed a massive and complex household for 40 years, who has navigated the treacherous waters of Roman politics from behind the scenes, must now ask for permission from the son you raised to conduct your own financial affairs? He, of course, grants it immediately, with a loving and respectful smile. He knows it is a legal formality, but the formality itself is an insult. It is a constant, legalistic reminder that no matter how old, how wise, or how respected you become, the state will forever see you as a child, as intellectually and legally inferior, as a person in perpetual need of male supervision. It's like having your own son as the legally required co-signer for your life. You could remarry. Offers might even be made, as an alliance with your powerful family is still a valuable commodity, but you have no desire to do so. After a lifetime of being subject to the will of a master, even a kind one, the prospect of placing yourself under the hand of another man holds no appeal. The qualified, legally constrained freedom of a widow is far more precious. You choose to remain a unifera, a testament to your first and only husband, and the guardian of your own limited independence. You settle into your role as the family matriarch. You are a figure of immense respect and quiet power. Your children and your grandchildren come to you for advice. Your son consults you on family matters. You are the living repository of your family's history, its traditions, its soul. You have survived the brutal institution of Roman marriage and emerged into a peaceful, respected, and semi-independent twilight. It is the best a Roman woman could hope for. But you are ever aware that this freedom was only granted to you by your husband's death, and that even now, the law still sees you as needing a man to guide your hand? Your long, constrained life has ended not with a bang, but with the quiet, bittersweet compromise of a Roman widowhood. The seasons of your life have turned, and you have entered your long, quiet winter. You are an old woman now, the respected matriarch of the Vedius clan. Your husband, Gaius, has been a silent resident of the family tomb for many years. You have outlived him, his rivals, and most of the friends you once knew. Your world has shrunk once again, returning to the familiar walls of the domus. But this time, it is not a cage. It is your throne room. You are a figure of immense, almost legendary respect. Your life a testament to the enduring Roman virtues of loyalty, duty, and resilience. Your days are quiet, spent in the warmth of the peristyle garden or near the household hearth. Your son, Lucius, is now a great man in his own right, a former consul, a powerful voice in the Senate. Your daughter, Vetia, is a respected matrona in another great family, her own children now grown. Your home is filled with the sounds of your grandchildren and great-grandchildren. You are surrounded by the fruits of your life's work, the living proof of your success. In this quiet twilight, you reflect on the strange nature of that success. Your entire life has been lived vicariously. You have never given a speech in the forum, but your quiet counsel shaped the speeches your husband and son delivered. You have never voted in the Senate, but your social intelligence, gathered in the women's baths and at dinner parties, influenced the votes of powerful men. You have never commanded a legion, but you managed the household that was the bedrock of the commanders. You were the silent, invisible architect of your family's public glory. Your life's work has been to empower the men who have, in turn, defined your existence. You watch your grandson, a boy also named Gaius, as he practices his rhetoric with his tutor. You see in him the same fire and ambition that you saw in his grandfather. You know that his path is already being laid out, that his future marriage will be a matter of strategic negotiation. You watch your granddaughter, a young girl named Gaia, as she learns to work the loom under her mother's watchful eye. You see the great, powerful, and unchangeable machine of Roman society, and you realize that you have not challenged it. You have mastered it. You have played the game so perfectly that you have successfully fed your own descendants back into their designated roles within it. This is your victory and your ultimate confinement. Your legacy, you understand, will not be your own. The histories that are written will mention your husband, the great Gaius Vedius, and your son, the consul Lucius Vedius. Your name, Gaia, if it is mentioned at all, will be a footnote. Wife of, mother of. Your identity, from your name at birth to your epitaph after death, is entirely relational, defined by the men you belong to. This was the bargain every Roman woman made. You traded your individual identity for the collective power and dignitas of your family line. So, did your life, this life of marriage in ancient Rome, truly suck? The question is complex, and the answer changes with the light. You have lived in luxury and security. You have been respected and, in your own way, powerful. You have known the deep, quiet love of a long partnership and the fierce, protective love of a mother. By the standards of your time, you have had a good life, a successful life. But a part of you, a quiet, observant part that has been with you since you were a girl, knows what you have sacrificed. You had a mind as sharp as any senator's, but you were never allowed to use it in public debate. You had organizational skills that could have managed a province, but they were confined to managing a household. You were never free. You were never your own person. Your potential was a brilliant songbird, kept in a beautiful, gilded cage. The cage was comfortable, but it was a cage nonetheless. And the quiet frustration of that reality was a lifelong companion. The end comes for you as it does for all mortals. You are very old. Your body frail and tired. You die peacefully in your own bed, the same marriage bed you were brought to as a young girl decades ago. You are surrounded by your family. Your son, the great senator, holds your hand. Your grandchildren and great-grandchildren are there to say farewell to the great matriarch who is the anchor of their world. Your long life of service is over. You have fulfilled your duty. You have run the race set out for you, and you have won by its terms. Your legacy is safe because your sons and their sons will carry it on. And so, as the lamplight in the grand Roman house is finally extinguished, the story of the Roman matron comes to its quiet conclusion. The endless work of the household is done. The political schemes and the social pressures have faded into the silence of history. The great, powerful woman, whose name will be but a whisper in the annals of men, is finally at rest. Her life of duty, of subtle power, and of profound constraint is over. Her legacy entrusted to the future generations she so carefully nurtured. Let the image of that quiet, sleeping household begin to fade now. Let the memory of marble columns and flickering oil lamps dissolve into the soft darkness of your own room. The story is told. The journey is complete. You can release the weight of another's life, the burdens of another time. Feel the gentle peace of this present moment, the simple comfort of your own bed, the steady, quiet rhythm of your own breath. There are no more duties to perform, no more roles to play. There's only the soft descent into a deep and truly restful sleep, a quiet realm where you are, at last, entirely and completely free.